Believe in Bigfoot? Dogman? Any cryptid? Are you skeptical?
Curious about the supernatural, conspiracy theories, the unknown? Then come join us as we explore facts, tall tales, and encounters on Creatures and Curiosities.
Hello and welcome to Creatures and Curiosities. I'm David.
And I'm Jake.
And in this week's episode, we're going to be talking about a creature that lives in the state of Texas called the Lake Worth Monster. Now, ironically, Texas has a whole bunch of creatures.
Yeah.
They've got some good ones. The Lake Worth Monster, although he hasn't been seen in forever, is kind of classified as one of their best cryptids.
I would agree.
Yeah. I think he's fun, number one. Number two, I think he wreaked terror across Texas that other cryptids didn't necessarily do. So I know Texas is famous for a few. You got that wild man of whatever. All I ever think was Wild Bill Hickok from the Mountain Men. But you got that wild guy.
Right.
I can't remember exactly what his name is. You have Chupacabra.
Which?
Famous in Texas.
Love Chupacabra.
Lala Lorna, which I think she's part of like the northern Texas area.
And horrifying.
The woman in white and all that. Clearly you have the triangle of the dogmen, which, you know, that's my favorite.
Yep. And we got to go to it.
We have to, check out that area and see if we can ever come across the dogman. And then there's a few other cryptids in the Texas area, but the Lake Worth Monster was notable only because it was in the paper. It created panic.
They had a picture of it.
They had a picture of it. That picture's not the best picture, but it isn't bad.
Not bad.
They say that it was grainy and it was this and that. Well, it was a Polaroid, number one. So Polaroid pictures never did.
Even if you're standing still in good lighting, they're grainy. That's what they are.
Not the best film in the world. But it did depict a hairy goat-like creature. He almost looked like Abominable.
He does a little bit, yeah.
Or, maybe a white hair, like the Alabama White Thing.
Yeah, there you go.
Kind of had that look to it. Long, shaggy-ish white fur. In the picture, I don't know, could you see any horns?
No.
See, I didn't see horns either.
But you can't really see a good head in the picture, I don't think.
Nah, because it's kind of
It's almost hunched a little bit, and it's taken from behind.
And it's dark.
Right.
So the flash of the Polaroid lit up the white fur, but everything else is kind of undiscernible.
And it's not like an iPhone. You have to stay still for a Polaroid.
Yeah.
So I doubt that it was out there posing like, oh, yeah, get my good side really quick.
Right. Exactly. Well, it's a pretty cool monster. And so let's kind of get into this a little bit. The Lake Worth Monster, he was also known as the Greer Island Goatman,
which
monster.
I'm coming to be a big fan of Goatman cryptids. I don't know what it is about them. They're just cool.
Yes. And he's not the only Goatman.
No.
We have already covered Pope Lake Monster, but then there's another Goatman as well.
Yeah, and I can't
famous.
Remember where he is exactly.
Someplace back east or in the south or something. I can't remember. We'll have to look him up. But this guy also goes by the name Goatman, and some of the locals there will call him the Mudman. He's kind of classified as this humanoid hybrid cryptid. And much like the Pope Lake Monster, there was a whole bunch of different stories that kind of go round and round about, was it an escaped animal or something? That Pope Lake Monster to me was the best story.
Yes.
That was a fun one. You know, the little goat boy that was tortured in his pen and urinated on and spat on and
train crashes.
Starved. The train crashes. He gets an axe and he takes his revenge. I love that story.
Yes.
And this one doesn't have that kind of an origin story behind it. But I think just because it's like this goat man hybrid creature that people make the jump that it's some, mutated
Circus freak.
freak. and even though you don't really get that description of him, when you do research on the Goatman, there's no origin story that makes that jump, but you can still see that a lot of people believe that that's kind of what it was. He was a freak.
Freak, yeah. There's no other way to put it. He's a freak.
So descriptions definitely vary amongst those who witness this guy, but they all seem to agree on some common elements. Most people describe the monster as being about 7 feet tall. So imagine a 7 foot tall goat man.
You can't. I can't.
No, just the terror alone
It's too
that
horrifying.
would strike into your heart. He's anywhere from 250 to 350 pounds. 100 pounds is a pretty good stretch, but yet not. I mean, because if I saw a goat man, I don't even know if you can estimate its weight.
With the hair and stuff, yeah, you don't know.
And you think about like Sasquatches and just looking at a bear. When you're out hunting and a black bear walks by or something and you're like, oh, that's got to be 300 pounds. And then they're not. They're like 185.
Yeah, depending on what part of the season you catch them in, how thick they're. Yeah,
exactly. So to see a bipedal goat walking around clacking its hooves on the rocks, number one, I think you'd be so terrified by seeing it.
Oh, absolutely.
You wouldn't even be going, I wonder how much that thing weighs. So, but just by his stature alone, being 7 foot tall, they're estimating him between 250, 350 pounds.
I'm just glad he's not carrying an axe.
Yeah.
Because that's even more terrifying.
He's not
like
wielding
Pope,
weapons.
Yeah.
He's a humanoid creature with the face of a goat. Some people, now this is where I just don't understand this one, but some people said that it's covered in white fur or long, shaggy hair, which the Polaroid picture does depict that.
Right.
While others say he's reptilian
I don't get that.
in nature, covered in scales. Now,
That's two different cryptids to me.
That's two different cryptids. They've seen lizard man and goat man in the same area.
Yes.
Because there's just no way that you're going to confuse fur with scales.
Now, if there was a color difference, I'd be okay with it. Like some people say it was white and some people say it was like a light brown. Okay, well, it could be white fur that's dirty.
Could be the lighting.
Could be the lighting.
Could be numerous things.
Yeah.
But not scales and fur.
Right.
That's like there's a beaver and a rattlesnake on the ground. And when you're going to describe them, you mix them up somehow. Well, the beaver clearly had scales.
And it's not that anybody said it was short hair. It's long, shaggy hair.
Long, shaggy hair.
So you couldn't even say it was the lighting that caught it different. And I just didn't see that it was hair. I thought it was scales.
No.
No, it's either a different cryptid or a drunk who saw something.
And that's all it boils down to. Because there's no way you can mix those up.
No.
I don't even care if you're scared. You're not going to look at like a rat and say it had scales on it. So I don't know. How they came up with that much of a difference is beyond me, unless, like you said, it's two different cryptids that have been spotted.
Exactly.
Some said the creature had a single horn on its head, and actually that is probably predominant. Most people thought that it only had one horn, while others say, no, it has two, like a goat. Well, in the photograph, you don't see any, but that doesn't mean they're not there.
You're right, yeah.
We already kind of said, he's got his head down, he's turned away from you, and the head area is kind of dark. Anyway, so I don't know that you would see the horns, so there's no way to determine if it was one or two. If it's one horn, then to me, he's even more bizarre.
Yeah.
I mean, because then
is it offset like it would be, or is it like a unicorn?
Yeah, centered in his forehead or something. I mean, who knows? I picture him as a goat.
Yeah.
Two horns.
Two horns.
That's the way it's going to be.
Yep.
The monster's most unique trait was described as this piercing, haunting cry. People say it actually sounds like this high-pitched scream that echoes across the lake at night, because he's also believed to be nocturnal. Every time he's seen, it's nighttime. I don't know that there's any daytime sightings of this guy.
Imagine being out like on a nighttime stroll, like on a hiking trail, and then you hear that piercing, haunting cry, as they call it. And then out walks a 7-foot tall, 350-pound goat man.
Yeah, walking on 2 feet.
Yeah.
Oh, man. We've talked about this kind of stuff several times about which one would be the most terrifying.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think werewolves and things of that nature, the Rougarou and those would have to be horrifying.
They're just menacing.
They're menacing and scary looking. But there's something just really evil and twisted about a goat man.
Yeah.
I don't know why, because I guess I think of Baphomet. I think of
something demonic.
This is like a head demon or something here that's coming towards me on 2 legs, and it's not natural.
Well, there's
a goat to stand. I don't know they do, because people are going to say, "Oh, they do it all the time." I know they'll stand on their hind little legs to try and get food, like at a petting zoo.
Yeah,
and you got a handful of those little pellets. They run over and bang into you with their head, and they'll stand up on their little hind legs to try and get the food. But I'm talking about like just normal, out in nature. You're out fishing, hiking, having a good time, and then here emerges a 7-foot, 300-pound goat walking on 2 feet
in the dark.
In the dark.
And I'm not like a scared of the dark person, but there is that fear element that when it walks out, if it goes back off trail, now you got to search for it in the dark.
And you don't know if you're being flanked or
exactly
stalked by this
thing. You can't see anything.
No, to me, a goat man is a terrifying creature.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The Lake Worth monster is said to be extremely strong and aggressive, and it seems to be willing to attack anyone or anything in its vicinity. It's even been described as being potentially rabid, that it's so angry.
Which just adds to the horror.
Because
it's not like a Bigfoot walking out and then peeks at you from around the tree and then saunters off because it doesn't want to be caught.
Right. This thing's going to come after you.
Yeah, it's going to kill. It's like a polar bear.
Some witnesses said it was able to jump 20 feet between the trees or across the shoreline. So now you picture this thing bipedal walking across the shore, and it's taking 20-foot jumps, hopping along. How are you going to outrun that?
You can't.
You can't.
You can't.
You're screwed.
That's why you're shooting it.
That's why
I'm shooting it.
That's why you got to pop this thing.
Yeah.
That's right. The location where this guy is obvious because he's called the Lake Worth monster, but he's mostly associated with Lake Worth, specifically in and around Fort Worth, which is now like a nature center and a refuge in the Fort Worth, Texas area. And most of the sightings of this guy occurred on the shores of the West Fork of the Trinity River around Greer Island, which is why he's sometimes called the Greer Island monster or the Greer Island Goatman. Now, Greer Island used to be completely and totally accessible to people. And so when we get into the origin story, if you were there now, you would see that it's like gated. It's a secured area. And that's because it is now this refuge. But back in the 60s, there was no fences. There was nothing. So people took a particular road that went over there, and they could drive like the shorelines of the island. And they would frequent that area just to go explore things and kind of a getaway, to the peaceful serenity.
Go check it out,
Yeah. Can't do it now. So you try and get over there, it's all gated, fenced off.
Because they're keeping the Goatman safe.
They're keeping the Goatman safe at the nature. That's why they call it.
Yeah. It's all a cover-up.
The nature center and refuge. Yeah, for what?
The Goatman.
Cryptid. Yeah. No doubt about it in my mind. Well, let's move into the origin story. On July 9th of 1969 in Tarrant County, Texas, some teenagers took Shoreline Road to the lake, kind of just out looking for privacy. They were going out there to make out.
Yeah, exactly.
The area during that time, obviously, was not gated or secured in any way, and it was common for people to go over there. Kids probably as a make-out or party spot, adults just as a peaceful, serene getaway. I mean, we love going to lakes.
Yeah.
There's just something about...
It's relaxing.
Yeah, shorelines and waterfront properties, where you look out over the lake, and
It's peaceful. All you hear is nature sounds.
Herons taking off.
Yeah.
And it's just a very serene setting.
Plus fishing.
Plus you got fishing, which
is the best part, of
we
course.
love to do.
Yeah.
3 young couples were parked in a clearing just after midnight when something leapt from the trees onto their car. And I can imagine if it's 250, 300 pounds, when we talk about that, it's not like a raccoon jumped on their car.
Yeah.
That'd be a pretty startling hit, on the hood or on the top of the car, the roof of the car. I would almost think that it would dent it in.
It would have to, I would think.
And if he's got big old goat hooves, I would think that it would damage the car.
So I'm 190, and I would assume if I jumped on the hood or roof of a car, it would put some dent into it.
Yeah.
Now you double that.
Especially from a tree.
Yeah.
Because you're coming down with pretty good force.
You double that and add, hooves to it, then it's gotta.
It has to. The monster actually claws at the roof. So I had seen, I didn't put it in the description area because it wasn't really clear, but people weren't sure if this thing had hooves for hands or if it had claws. In this particular incident, they're stating that it was clawing at the roof, and it even tried to pull one of the girls out of the car. Could you imagine? So it has to have the ability to grip.
To grab, exactly.
So if it's a cloven hoof, it wouldn't be able to drag you out of a car. It could kick you or something, but it couldn't grip. Well, supposedly this thing grabbed this girl and was trying to drag her out of the car. So the driver of the car panics.
Naturally, yeah. Especially a teenager.
Yeah. He floors it, and off they go, and they were able to get away without the monster dragging that girl out of the car. Well, these teenagers, terrified, of course, they go to the local police station to report the incident. Now, ironically, the police had already heard rumors of this beast for several weeks. And in fact, a little more digging into it, it was actually, I think one of the dispatchers made the comment that they had actually heard about this thing for a couple of months, not just a couple of weeks. It was a couple of months. People were saying there's some kind of creature, and especially vocalizations. They were hearing that high-pitched scream coming over the lake, and the police were like, oh, yeah, right. So they just dismissed everything as being a prank, especially kids.
Or it's some scared cop who's like 7-foot-tall goat man screaming. It's got to be a prank because he doesn't want to go out and investigate.
Yeah, I'm not going.
Try again.
Exactly. Well, in this particular case, though, this report was quite a bit different than everything they had heard prior. And there's not a lot of information prior to this origin story, but I did read that a couple of teenage girls had actually made a report on it as well prior to this incident. This is the first documented incident. But supposedly a couple of girls heard the high-pitched screams, and they thought they saw a huge silhouette amongst the trees, and they ran off terrified. And other people claimed the same kind of thing, that they kept hearing this almost like a mournful cry, like it was lonely, similar to Wampus Cat.
Yeah.
Right?
It lures you in.
But the police said, nah, you guys are being ridiculous. This is clearly a prank, and you guys are just reporting stuff.
Kids being kids type stuff, yeah. Kids.
Well, in this particular case, the police noticed that all of the kids were really pale-faced, almost like they'd been traumatized.
Yeah.
It was evident that these kids had obviously experienced something very terrifying. And then they tell the police, well, come on outside here and check out the car. So they go out to the kid's car. I think his name was John Reichert. And they show the police this 18-inch gash down the side of the car. I think it was the same side that he tried to yank the young girl out, which would obviously indicate that he had some form of claw, right?
It has to.
Yeah. I mean, not that a hoof couldn't cause a gash, but if you put that in line with the fact that he's also clawing at the roof and grabbing the girl and pulling her out, this thing more likely has claws than hooves for hands.
And if they thought that it came from the tree, you would think that it wouldn't really be able to climb.
Yeah. In
If it
order to
just had-
scale something,
Yeah,
you'd
if it
have
had
to
hooves. Unless it just jumped because it could leap 20 feet.
Well,
And it just seemed like it came from the trees. But still, with everything else, I think it's got to have hands.
It's got to have claws. And with obviously sharp nails that can put an 18-inch gash
Yeah, foot and a half.
And this is 1969.
Yeah. Back when cars were made with actual
Yeah,
materials.
so there wasn't plastic and, all the different things, different alloys we use today. Those were metal skinned doors.
Yeah.
So the police at this point are thinking there actually could be something to this. Well, the Fort Worth Star Telegram, which was the local paper there, published the initial accounts the very next day. And of course, widespread panic ensues.
Oh, naturally. You got a
right?
7-foot tall goat man running amok.
Exactly. And who wouldn't be afraid of that?
Yeah.
So panic soon turns into frenzy.
Yeah.
Which, I love it. Gone are those days, right? The early 1900s, right up through like the 60s, I would say, people took things into their own hands.
Yeah.
Today, all it is looting and rioting and politically paid
garbage.
Yeah. It's not, people aren't doing stuff as like a vigilante force against evil.
Something to protect their community.
Yeah.
That's what they're not going out there to just cause a ruckus.
Right.
They're getting their shotguns and they're like, hey, our kids go out here to play.
We're going to
hang
take
out.
care of business.
Yeah. I like it.
And it reminds me of the old Frankenstein movies and things where
pitchforks and
collect
torches
up all
and
their weapons and off they go into the darkness to fight evil.
We got to bring that back.
Yeah, we really do. So that's what they do. These townsmen, they gather up their arms, they pile into their trucks, and they drive to the lake to hunt the monster, which, like I said, you got to love that.
I love it.
Crowds of people start flocking to the lake in hopes of getting a glimpse of this creature, while reporters comb the area looking for a story to tell. Well, it got to the point where the police were actually having problems trying to control the chaotic crowds out there. And they're attempting to investigate the matter themselves. But how do you do that when you got 50 million people? Obviously, it's a town of probably 900 or something.
Yeah.
But you got all these people running through, driving through.
Yeah.
So you're not going to have any footprints left. They're tearing up the terrain. They're firing rounds into the forest. And then people are just running amok.
Yeah, because you got to assume even if there's only 75 people out there, they probably only have 4 deputies or cops or, whatever agency it was. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
To try to, hey guys, we got it under control.
And we're trying to investigate this. So if you guys could kindly, remove yourselves. But they weren't able to do that because these people were panic stricken.
Yeah.
That's really what it boils down to. So you had some that were panic stricken. You have some that are just generally curious. I want to see if I can see it. So, you got everybody is out there at this point. So the cops were really concerned about a potential that this mob scene might result in injury because you know how it is. People panic and they have a firearm in their hand. They start popping rounds.
Yeah, exactly.
And they were thinking some of the townspeople are probably going to get injured or shot out here. So the monster sightings were thought to be pretty much anything from the mundane to the supernatural. Some people in the vicinity thought the monster might be an escaped circus animal.
I love it.
I do love that. Or kind of a zoo exhibit of some kind. But, it's not 7-foot goats.
With hands.
I mean, I could see that being a sideshow thing.
Yeah.
But not a zoo animal.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that'd just be a normal goat, more than likely. Others thought that it was probably just a prankster in a costume.
Yeah, 7-foot tall prankster.
7-foot tall, 350-pound prankster.
That
kid
leapt on a car
and tore the whole side of it off.
Yeah,
yeah,
of course. Your typical pranks.
So that was the origin story. Now, obviously, nothing ever came of it. The police never found anything in their investigation other than the vehicle damage and the witness account. That's all that they could come up with. There was no specific evidence where they could confirm or deny that this creature existed.
Well, yeah, landing on top of a car is not going to necessarily leave foot or hoof prints. Like,
Yeah.
it's going to be dents. Yeah.
And nothing said if there were dents in the hood. It just said there was a big gash down the side.
Yeah.
So I don't know what other evidence they had, but the bottom line is they came up with nothing that could confirm the story. So the paper runs with it, and people come to their own conclusions that it's either a prank or it's a demonic entity or it's a escaped circus freak or whatever. And that's all they're left with because there just wasn't anything to confirm. So moving into sightings, if you want to jump in on those.
Yeah. So on the night of July 10th, a few dozen people were at a clearing known for dumping near the lake when the monster made another appearance. It appeared on a cliff, it looked angry, roared loudly, and threw a tire 500 feet toward them, which is crazy.
Yeah.
When you think about it.
500 feet is a long ways.
Yeah. Because I've done some like workout stuff with this guy, and we were kind of see who could throw the small tire the farthest. And yeah, I don't even think we made it 100 feet.
Yeah.
Let alone 500 feet.
Crazy.
And the guy I was doing it with, he's like 6'2", 240. He's a big guy, and he made it pretty far, but I don't even think he made it 100 feet. That's far to throw a tire.
Yeah.
Tires are heavy.
I couldn't throw one that far.
There's no way.
Depending on the size of the tire, too.
Right.
You're talking about something on a little Toyota Corolla or something. They're still heavy.
Yeah.
No doubt about it, but it'd be a lot less than the ones that are on my truck.
But then I think back to like watching baseball games. I mean, throwing a ball 500 feet.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're Bo Jackson back in the day that,
maybe. Not too many people can throw a ball that far.
No.
I just recently watched a guy trying to throw it over the fence from home plate.
Right.
And couldn't.
And those are usually anywhere from 4 something to 500, depending on what field you're at and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
it's crazy.
It is crazy. And I might add that the sighting that you're talking about is the very next day.
The very next night, yes. The very next night. So everyone, including a group of sheriff's deputies, ran away in fear, which rightfully so.
Yeah. And so there is a little like explanation and debunking section that we're going to come up to that has an answer for this.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sorry. If you have multiple people and sheriff's deputies there, when we get to the explanation of what happened,
exactly.
I'm sorry, but there's no way that the sheriff's deputies ran away in fear if it was just a person.
Exactly.
They would literally go arrest the guy.
Right. Or
at least yell at him, hey, get down here, and why'd you throw that tire, et cetera, et cetera. There's no way that they would run in fear. And so if the story is true that all these people witnessed this thing roaring, pissed off, and chucking stuff at them, and they were all so scared that they ran, then to me, the Goatman was present.
Exactly.
The deputies aren't going to run from some kid.
No. And one of the witnesses said the monster gave off a, quote, pitiful cry like something was hurting him, end quote. Which,
again, that mournful cry. And people describe it as though he's lonely or that he's sad.
In agony of some kind.
Some way, shape, or form, which I don't understand the meaning behind that. But like in the case of the Wampus cat, those pitiful cries were for 2 reasons. One, lure you in to kill you.
Right.
And secondly, because she was in mourning that she had been in one of the lures, that she had been turned into this cat and could never be around humans again. And so she lived a lonely life. Well, we don't know the true story behind the Goatman here.
But it could be.
But it could be something where he's lonely and wants to be around people, but they're terrified of him, so he cries at night.
Hey, he was probably just trying to get that girl out to hang out with her.
Yeah, exactly.
Nicely pull her out of the car. It's fine.
Yeah, and then she rejected him, and now he cries.
Yeah, now he's sad about it.
It makes perfect sense to me.
He was probably just trying to play tire throwing games with the guys, and they ran off in fear.
Yeah.
It's rude.
Yeah, it is rude.
Moving on, in October of 1969, Alan Plaster saw the monster and took a picture of it with a Polaroid camera, which is what we were talking about earlier.
Right.
Which is the only photographic evidence of the creature. And the picture shows a large, white, hairy body. The image was then given to a Sally Ann Clark, and Clark, who is now deceased, actually wrote a book about the Lake Worth monster, and she claimed to have seen it on 3 separate occasions.
Yeah, I tried to look into that book. It is available like through Amazon. You can buy it.
Mm-hmm.
And she had made the comment that if she had seen the monster prior to writing the book, she would have written it in a completely different fashion. But she was basically writing about it based on the accounts of other people and stuff. And after writing the book, she had 3 incidents with it. She ended up dying at like 80 years old. But it'd be kind of fun to get the book and read the account of it. I didn't read any of the excerpts from it. But the picture has been called into question.
Right.
By numerous people, as all pictures are.
Just going to say that they're always going to be.
It doesn't matter how good your picture looks, how grainy it is.
There's going to be a complaint.
Somebody's going to say it's fake.
It's too grainy, so it's probably fake because you can't even make out really what's going on. Or it's too perfect of a picture. It's clearly AI. It's fake, whatever the case is. Someone's going to complain. Someone's going to say it's bogus.
And of course, in 1969, they didn't have AI.
They did not. They did not.
And a Polaroid was...
Can't really fake that. I mean,
pretty good camera.
You could fake the suit,
the day.
Yeah.
You can call anything into question, of course, but this is the only piece of evidence that the Lake Worth monster exists.
And I think it's legit.
It has to be.
It has to be. For a few months following the initial encounter, some spooked fishermen and hikers began telling stories of similar nighttime meetings. One man out on the lake who was doing some early morning catfishing, which I got to say, that's one of the few, I mean, I can count on one hand, one of the very few things I miss about California. Bass fishing and catfishing.
Yeah.
Because we have some catfish up here, but it's not the same as...
It's not as
same
good.
with bass.
Yeah. And we have to drive too far to get to those.
Yeah.
Because there's none in our lakes.
Definitely not going back to California for it. So I'll just stick to trout fishing, which I love it anyway. So it's fine.
We could drive back to Tennessee, do some catfishing in Tennessee.
That's true. That's true. But then I get upset about the humidity and heat. So, so anyway, he had a particular disturbing encounter. So it was a humid that morning and a blast of cold air suddenly rolled through, chilled to the point that he started getting goosebumps. He smells a pungent stench. It smelled like what he described as a musky swamp mud mixed with a dead animal.
So that's similar to what's always described with like the skunk apes.
Exactly.
And when Bigfoot comes marching through forest land, people always talk about the stench.
Yeah, that
in the air.
Nasty, pungent smell. So he turns and looks towards the nearby woods and sees something that obviously scared the bejeebus out of him. It was a pair of glowing eyes between the trees staring directly at him.
Now, I'd be curious, were they glowing red eyes?
And that's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah,
Because
what color we got?
Nothing says what color the eyes were.
I know.
Nobody has ever described the eyes other than they're glowing eyes.
Yeah.
And my money's on red.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
All the other ones are.
Yeah.
So he obviously quickly leaves the area, even leaves his pole and tackle box behind.
And who does that?
Who does that?
No fisherman.
No fisherman.
No good fisherman would ever
I'm
leave.
even second guessing if I saw it leaving my stuff behind.
Yeah.
I might be stupid enough to still grab my stuff.
I'm not leaving my tackle.
I'm not leaving my
or
tackle.
rod.
No.
Not going to happen.
My tackle box is full. And I'm not doing that. I'm not buying all my gear again.
Nope.
So anyway, the fisherman never saw the eyes again. He could never shake the feeling, though, that something at Lake Worth was always watching from the woods.
Because it is.
Exactly.
It's out there.
Yep.
I wonder if he ever went back to recover his pole or if the Goatman took it.
I would assume that, and of course I'm putting stuff together, but if he says that he could never shake the feeling that something's watching him, that he had to go back.
Yeah. But did he have to buy another pole?
I don't see that. And that's why you shouldn't leave your stuff.
You don't leave your stuff behind.
I hope they did take it.
Well, the Goatman's got to eat. Might as well go fishing.
Now he's got free tackle and everything.
Exactly.
You want to jump in the next one here?
Sure. So another incident occurred during a Boy Scout camping trip. The troop was wrapping up a late night event when they saw something that they were never told was going to happen to them, right? I mean, you always get those little badges of honor that you completed something, but there's none on the Goatman.
And I'm sure they tell them like, hey, we might see bear in the area or mountain lions, depending on where you're at. Give them a rundown, but
No.
I'm sure the 7-foot tall Goatman wasn't on the list.
But wouldn't that be cool if you could have a Goatman?
Oh,
badge.
After that, you have to get one.
Yeah, sewn onto your little vest. I survived the Goatman. Yeah, so it's nighttime, obviously. And in the glow of their lantern, they see this huge silhouette emerge. And the figure's hunched over, and he's kind of at this unnatural angle with his head cocked.
Which kind of leads some credibility to the photo, that he was hunched over when he came out, just like in the photo.
Right, where you kind of can't see the head because it's so hunched.
Exactly.
So his head's cocked, kind of like as though he's searching the night sky, and I mean, I can picture that, it's kind of hunched over and looking up towards the sky. Well, the kids realize that this thing has not seen them. And so now they're trying to be as quiet as possible, and they're just observing this thing. Suddenly, the monster tilts its head back, and it just howls into the night, which that has to be terrifying.
Oh, it send chills through me.
Yeah, but that's what literally everybody says, is that this thing just screams into the night with this piercing, haunting, high-pitched, shrilling scream. Well, so these kids witness this. The scoutmaster, so you have an adult out there too, it's not just kids.
Yeah, right.
He later described it as, quote, a goat's call through a broken trumpet, end quote. So I don't know where he's ever heard a goat call through a broken trumpet, but that's clearly what he describes it as.
I mean, you got to be just, maybe it has that like bah sound, and then he's combining that with what he's heard of a trumpet.
Yeah.
Unless he's doing weird stuff with animals.
Well, you never know.
Off. You never know. People are weird.
Exactly. The monster then disappears into the darkness of the forest. And of course, now the kids are so terrified they can't go to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
as an adult, I wouldn't be able to sleep.
I'd be packing up right then and getting the hell out of there.
I don't see why you wouldn't.
Who would go back to camp and say, okay, boys, bedtime?
We'll be safe in the security of our thin tent.
Yeah, with a 7-foot, 300-pound goat man with red eyes that bathes at the moon.
Yeah, it's fine.
We'll be just fine.
Yeah. I kind of picture with the hunched thing, in one of our favorite movies, Krampus.
Oh, yeah.
He has that hunched look, and then his horns coming up.
Yeah.
And then you can't really tell what he is until he turns.
Could this be Krampus?
Well, he's got the white fur.
White fur. Yeah. And Krampus was dark.
Yeah.
Well, could it be an albino Krampus?
You never know.
I don't know. So the next one, the Lake Worth monster, pretty much wasn't seen again until about 1973. So on March 13th, a guy by the name of Mark Frick, he's a 19-year-old security officer from the Carswell Air Force Base. He's out enjoying the evening at Holiday Park, which is about 15 miles or so from Lake Worth. Frick claims that he saw a large, unidentifiable creature splashing through the water and disappearing into the brush after emitting a strange howl. Well, it could be anything, right?
Could be
Sasquatch,
anything,
could be the Goatman, who knows? But he reports the incident to the Benbrook Police Department, and a search party was then sent out, but nothing ever found. Well, it would make sense to me that it's probably the Goatman.
It's got to be.
It's close by where this occurred. It's in the water, and the Goatman is known to swim, by the way. I didn't say that in the description, but some people did say that this creature can swim and that they've seen it like eating fish and stuff. Well, because he stole the guy's rod.
Exactly.
Reel. That's what he's doing. He's out there fishing and wading.
He's probably thinking this is way better than diving for him.
Yeah. So anyway, in my opinion, when this guy sees this thing walking through, he's either seeing this creature, which is the most likely, or he saw a Bigfoot wading through the water, splashing around. And
I'm thinking of Goatman, though.
And screaming. It's the screaming.
Yeah.
Not that Bigfoots don't vocalize often. In fact, I just watched a thing just the other day on one of those social media reels where, and this is recent, I was going to send it to you, and then I thought, I'm always torturing you with this stuff.
I love them, so send away.
But this is a recent, like within the last few months, vocalization that was captured.
Oh, wow.
And it was over in Washington State.
Of course.
and you can hear this thing just screaming in the night. And it was pretty awesome to listen to. And it's exactly, I might add, what I heard, episode 1, Bigfoot Crossing. It's exactly what I heard out west of us. It's an unmistakable howl.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what this guy heard. There's a difference between a high-pitched screaming noise and that deep, throttling, glottal sound of a Bigfoot. But I don't know if this guy knows the difference.
You see, and that's where it's hard to know which one. Either way, he heard a cryptid.
He heard a cryptid, and he saw a cryptid,
and
he called the police, and they actually investigated it, but couldn't find anything. Well, you don't leave footprints in water.
Yeah.
And what are you going to find out there? So, in my opinion, he saw the Lake Worth monster. So, from 1969 to 1973, you have quite a few sightings.
Yeah.
You had multiple sightings prior to the 69 incident that the police just blew off. Then you got 2 within 2 days in 1969. And then you have more incidents that keep occurring right up until about 1973. So that must have been his reign when he didn't mind being seen.
Yeah.
During those years. Because if you want to grab the next one, it's quite a bit later.
Yeah. The summer of 99, a reporter for the Dallas Morning News had his own experience. A guy by the name of Charles Scudder was visiting Camp Carter, which is just downriver from Lake Worth. As they came to a clearing in the woods, the camp counselors that were there made a campfire. And around the campfire, they start telling the legend of the Goatman, or, the Lake Worth monster.
Yeah, it'd be a great story to tell, especially when you're there.
Yeah, and at night, around a campfire, that's perfect. So Charles takes notes as best he could, and he was intrigued by the storyteller's enthusiasm of everything. Listen carefully, one of the counselors says to him, and you'll hear his cry on clear nights like tonight. The older boys just laugh, saying it was just a ploy to keep the kids in line. Hey, don't sneak off when we're all asleep kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is a good tactic.
It is a good tactic.
It's a good tactic.
And why many campfire stories exist.
Exactly.
Keep those kids in line.
But then, with everyone present and a reporter as a witness, there came a noise off in the distance. It was a sad sound that gradually grew louder and became very prominent. Quote, a mournful bleating echoing from far across the lake, end quote. He later called it, again, quote, unmistakable as the monster's lone cry, end quote.
Well, and see, there you go. This little guy is either lonely or luring.
Yeah.
It's something, right? Why? Not that all animals don't cry out in the night at some point. I have cattle behind me. I have my own horses and eagles and hawks and everything screeches and howls and coyotes.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Everything bays at the moon. Why would not Goatman or Sasquatch?
Exactly.
They love to vocalize. So those were the most famous sightings of this guy. There's been multiple. I even saw some stuff on Reddit and a couple other sites where people are still claiming to see it and hear it.
And I'm sure, like every other cryptid, ghost, ghoul, whatever it is, there's plenty of people out there who don't want to say anything.
Saw it and they're not going to ever admit to it.
I'm not going to tell someone I saw a 7-foot tall goat man walking around.
Yeah. And that reminds me. Thinking back to Paul, our guest on
the
Alabama White Thing.
Yeah.
I wonder if he and his friend ever went out to hunt the Pope Lick monster. Remember they were going to go to the trestle? We said, be careful if you go and call us back.
Yeah, Paul, if you went and you listen to this, let us know.
Yeah, if you and your friend ever did actually go out there, send me an email. Let me know how that whole thing went down. We would love to.
Oh, yeah.
Love to hear. Even if you didn't see anything, just going out there to the trestles and experience in and of itself, we'd like to hear from you. Okay, so moving into explanations of what could the Lake Worth monster be. This is kind of a debunk section as well, although I'm not buying it.
I'm not buying it.
There's the theory of prank. Some witnesses later claimed that it was just a prank by high school classmates using a tinfoil mask, though the original photographer expressed doubts about this explanation. And so they're talking about Alan Plaster's photo. At one point, Plaster says that it could have been a prank, and that as he speculates over his own photograph, that it's possible that maybe somebody was pulling a prank and wanted him to see them and took the picture. But then he recants that later and says, no, there's just no way that it was, somebody was just out there.
Well, I think as an average person, you'd want to rationalize it.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be a 7-foot tall goat man. You
Right.
want it to be some high school kids. But I don't like the explanation of them using a tinfoil mask.
No.
What does that have to do? I didn't see a face in the picture anyway.
Exactly. Which is just kind of stupid.
Yeah.
So a Fox-owned television station in Dallas-Fort Worth, KDFW, did a lengthy report in November of 1999 about the Lake Worth monster. They interviewed some of those who saw it. There was a reporter, Jim Mars, that saw it. They, of course, Sally Ann Clark, the one that wrote the book, and that has the original Polaroid taken by Alan. And that report announced that high school students admitted to the police that they had pranked people by dressing up in a gorilla suit and paraded around the lake in '69. So I don't buy it.
Cover up.
Well, how did these students pull off this piercing, mournful cry into the night?
Especially back then.
1969.
If you did it now, I could say, well, okay. Because they have those, I think you can get them for like $30, those Aztec death whistles on Amazon.
Yeah.
And I've seen videos of people using them, and I kind of want to get one. It sounds pretty cool. But you can't just order that on Amazon back in 1969.
Right. And also that these kids are out there that often.
At night?
Okay, so let's talk.
Who are they pranking at night?
Who are they pranking at night? They're walking around an island in forest land, hoping to see somebody.
Right, exactly.
And then they can jump on the hood and rip an 18-inch gash into the side of a car.
And then try to yank some unsuspecting girl out of the car.
Yeah. As they speed away and they fall off, but nobody's injured. They torture some poor fisherman who ends up leaving his equipment behind because he's so terrified by their glowing eyes. How did they make their eyes glow?
It wasn't tinfoil.
Wasn't tinfoil. So it's really easy for these kids to take credit for that. Oh, yeah, we were out there pranking people.
We did it. It was our high school senior prank. We did it, guys.
But there's no way.
No.
There's no. And okay, so they dressed up in this big white costume in '69. Hard to find, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I lived in the 60s. I went on how our costumes were crapola back in the day. It was a mask with a rubber band around it that you snapped onto your face, and it was so damn hot you couldn't breathe in them. So you ended up taking it off halfway through your trick-or-treating. A gorilla costume literally was the crappiest costume ever. You could tell how horrible they were. You show no muscle structure. If they dressed up like a goat, what costume, if you were to pull up costumes of 1969, would you be able to find a Goatman costume that a teenage kid could afford, go out on a random night and just happen to have people
just hope somebody shows up
between midnight and 1 a.m? No.
Bogus.
They're liars.
Yeah.
This was not a prank.
They're trying to seem cool for somebody.
Yes. And then as we kind of move on, the whole episode where the tire was thrown 500 feet. Supposedly, the creature hurling this tire was found out just to be some guy by the name of Vinzens. And he admitted that in 2009, he was the one that threw the tire.
500 feet.
500 feet.
Yeah, totally.
So he claims that he was rolling a tire along with some friends. It hit a bump. He lost control of it. It went into the air, and it eventually landed close to the bystanders.
So he lost control of it, and it launched 500 feet in the air.
Yeah, so it's rolling like down a hill or something.
Going like 80 miles an hour.
Yeah, hits a bump and lands next to him. Okay, so I'll buy that for about a nanosecond.
Yeah.
because there were deputies present
Yep.
and multiple people who saw it roaring on the hillside, holding the tire and flinging it at them.
Yeah, was it the same kids in the gorilla suit too?
Yeah. So terrified that the deputies ran. Now, I'm sorry, if Vinzen's was up there rolling a tire, do you think the deputies would be like, oh my God, run?
Yeah.
No.
No.
They would have gone to Vinzen's.
Yeah, hey, get down here, jackwagon.
Yeah, they'd have tracked his ass down and they'd have said, why did you throw the tire at us?
Yeah.
These people were terrified because they saw.
Even if they don't want to deal with even if they don't want to deal with the paperwork of citing him, they're going to chew him out.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure going to chew him out.
This is 1969 too. This isn't today where they're wearing body cams and they're afraid.
Right.
That, somebody's going to say that they're mean and that all cops are bad and all these stupid ass movements today. This is 1969 when police were respected. They didn't have a whole lot of fear back then because they were semi-brutal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't have the same restrictions that people have today. They'd have grabbed that kid, probably whipped his butt.
Yeah, smacked his head off the car, put him in the back, let him think about it for a minute.
Exactly. They'd take him home to dad, and then dad would whip him.
Yep.
But no, according to this whole thing was just a ploy. It was just a prank. And I'm not buying that.
No.
There is no way that the police would be afraid of this incident.
No.
Now, moving on, those are the ones that people have come out and said flat out the whole thing is just a hoax. Then there's the other side of the coin where cryptozoologists and people and townspeople and witnesses to this say that this monster could just possibly be an undiscovered primate species.
That looks like a goat.
That looks like a goat. So
I'd buy that more than the other thing.
I'm going to buy it more than the prank because there's no way the prank, you can't explain that prank.
No.
Kids dressed up in a costume can't rip the side of a car off. And they're not going to be able to make those kinds of vocalizations. And they're not out there all night long waiting for one person to come by.
It's a cheap way to write it off so you can rationalize it.
Right.
Is all it is.
And so clearly it is either an undiscovered, I'm not going to necessarily say primate, but it's an undiscovered species.
Yeah.
Or right back to what we've said all along. It's a hybrid demonic being.
Yeah.
Which we already know existed. We talked about it in the Giants episode. We've talked about it in other episodes. These things were on Earth at one point, and there's no reason why they can't be now.
Exactly.
And so Goatman is a demon.
Yep.
Period. And you're going to have to live with that.
Nothing else to it.
Nope. And so then moving on, because there is no other rational explanation for what it is. It was either a prank, which I believe didn't happen.
Right.
It's an undiscovered actual species like a bear or a goat that somehow mutated, or it's an evil cryptid species, demonic, something.
Which it's that one, obviously. But
yeah. Moving into like the modern day popularity stuff. So 69, it created widespread panic. Now they celebrate it and enjoy it.
That's how we do it.
Well, it's because we've all moved on.
Yeah.
Nobody's afraid of anything anymore.
No.
So the Lake Worth area unofficially adopted this little monster as a mascot after local businesses began using it in their ads. The Fort Worth Nature Center and Refuge, which I believe is housing it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They sponsored the first annual Lake Worth Monster Fest in 2009 to mark its 40th anniversary.
Oh, weird how they're holding it and making money off of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Scumbags.
That's our federal government force. So now it's a yearly festival. It takes place every October. And locals celebrate with giant paper mache effigies. They swap tales about the creature. There's a whole host of things. You got your barbecue, you got your dance, I
love it.
It's just literally a big festival to celebrate the Lake Worth monster. They even have guided hikes that take participants to the location of the original sighting, and they tell the story of the monster while you're hiking through.
Which is pretty cool.
You got to love it.
Yeah.
Now, there haven't been any sightings since that 1999 sighting. But, he's still out there.
He's got to be.
He's waiting.
He's protected.
Yeah. He's a protected species at this point. Kind of like the leprechauns.
Yeah. Yeah.
That are a protected species.
It's ridiculous.
By federal law. You can't go into their little community and stuff. So, when the federal government gets involved and posts like Bigfoot mating area signs, and when they pass laws in Canada and in Washington where it's unlawful to hunt or shoot a Bigfoot, why does the government get involved in things that they say don't really technically exist?
Evil entities protecting their demonic forces.
Exactly.
That's the only way.
It has to be.
Yeah.
It's something, though, right?
Yeah. You don't just do that for fun.
You don't just do it for fun. When the legislative branch of government passes a law to protect a cryptid, then they have to believe the cryptid exists.
It's not a local town making a festival. That's a whole other ballgame.
That's a whole other ballgame. That's just fun.
Yeah. It's like you said, there's a lot that goes into making things into law.
Yeah.
It's not just like, we should do this. Okay, let me sign this paper.
Yeah. So they have to exist.
They have to exist.
And our government knows it.
Yep. And they're supporting them.
Period. And that is it in a nutshell. So that's pretty much all we have on the Lake Worth monster. There's not a whole lot to tell about him, but he is quite famous in Texas.
And he is quite real.
And he is quite real. Yeah. And he's still there on the nature and the National Refuge. It's a cryptid protection zone.
Yep.
So
love it.
You definitely have to love it. Well, you got anything else at all, Jake?
No, I think that pretty much covered it pretty well.
Yeah, it wraps it up. Our next episode is going to be on
the Enfield Monster.
The Enfield Monster of Illinois.
A creepy little guy.
He is a weird looking little thing.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like Mike from
Monsters, Inc.
Monsters, Inc. That's what it reminded me of. But there's not a whole lot to talk about on him, but he is intriguing.
Yeah. Got some good sightings, though. There are some good sightings.
Got some good sightings.
Not a lot, but good ones.
Yeah. And so we're going to have some fun with that one.
Oh, yeah.
And then as we enter into the Christmas season, which I always love, my favorite time of year, we're going to kind of get back into the ghostly stories of Nordic and Bavarian tradition, such as like Krampus and Perchta and all these different horrifying things that come out on the winter solstice. And we're going to be getting into that. So as the year wraps up and it's our second season, we're hoping that you join us and that we have a good time together.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed the show and you want to help us out, then go ahead and give us a follow, leave us a review, and don't forget to turn on the automatic download button so you don't miss any upcoming episodes. And as always, if you've had any experiences, stories, thoughts, comments, or questions, we'd love to hear from you. Send us an email to cryptidfanatic@gmail.com. Let us know if you'd like to be on the show or just have your story featured during one of our episodes.